Oh man, this by far was the worst speech from Cyril ever. I wasted a whole hour of my life. Here's why. Please go check out www.rebelstoresza.com. Link in the description. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Joe Emilio Show, in my honest opinion. In this show, I give my honest opinion about issues or topics, whether it be politics or ideologies or anything I want to give my honest opinion to, and sometimes that turns into a rant. Today, I'm going to be talking about the president's speech that he gave on the 8th of January 2021 in celebration of the ANC turning 109 years old. Yeah. Oh, and little side note here, that happened on a Friday, the 8th of January, which also happens to be Footsec ANC Fridays, or hashtag Footsec ANC Fridays on social media, especially on Twitter. Yeah, just so you know, just a little fun fact. Anyways, before I get into that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hit that bell icon so you can be notified of all my future uploads as well as my live streams. All right. Where do I begin? Look, suffice it to say that most of it was BS, nothing burger, fluff. Yeah, so for me to sit here and take apart every sentence, we'd be here forever. Seeing as Ramaphosa had four main priorities for the ANC this year, or four main goals for this year, I thought I would stick with the theme and bring up four issues that I have with his speech. So the first thing I want to bring up is the South African Communist Party. Yeah, for those of you who think that that's a lie, they don't exist, or for whatever reason the Communist Party, the South African Communist Party, is not involved in any way, shape, or form with the ANC, I'm sorry, but have a look at this clip.
This year also marks the centenary of the South African Communist Party. Since its formation in 1921, the Communist Party has been a dependable ally. It has been at the forefront of the struggle. The Communist Party has also played a critical role in the ideological development of the liberation movement.
You heard correctly. The South African Communist Party has been a dependable ally of the ANC. So that's a problem. I went on to the South African Communist Party's website. Let's have a look here. Oh, wow, look at their slogan. Wow, socialism is the future. You can literally Google South African Communist Party. You will see all this stuff about land reform, NHI, all this stuff that they want to implement that ANC has been talking about for the past year. Now I know why he always says comrades and friends. He says this a few times in the speech.
Comrades and friends.
So you can also research what the alliance is. That's kind of scary. EWC was brought up during his speech, and EWC is a very, 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 how can I say, delicate topic for South Africans. In my opinion, it is a topic that divides the nation. But having said that, here's what the president had to say about EWC.
During the course of this year, we expect Parliament to approve an amendment to Section 25 of our Constitution, clearly outlining the circumstances in which land may be expropriated without compensation.
Here are some articles and headlines about EWC. Here's an article where 23 countries opposed to it and warn against it. Cyril Ramaphosa did say that he would try and implement EWC in a way that protects future security. Now, you'll excuse me if I don't trust the ANC when they say that. Especially because we've seen this play out before in Venezuela and Zimbabwe. There's an article that's titled Socialism Destroys, which I thought was interesting. So there's a very important part here that I do want to bring up very quickly. Even guys like John Oliver have given their 2 cents about it, saying plenty of socialist countries are nothing like Venezuela. When I talk about democratic socialism, I'm not looking at Venezuela, says Senator Bernie Sanders. Not looking at Cuba, I'm looking at countries like Denmark, like Sweden. So many American politicians now cite Denmark as a socialist paradise that Denmark's prime minister felt compelled to go on TV to say Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy. Exactly. Socialism, democratic and tyrannical, means government owns or controls businesses. Sound familiar? Look, I think it's safe to say that socialism, communism does not work. And a lot of people will say, yeah, but this time it will be different. Well, I don't think people want to hang around and find out if it is going to be different. Because so far, it's really crap. Now, the mainstream media has already released some information about the EWC that is going to be implemented in South Africa. And there's an article here, which I've also linked in the description below, which you can go and see for yourself some of the policies that they're going to be implementing. They do say that the courts will have the ultimate decision for when EWC will be implemented. All right, so let me ask you this. Who here trusts the courts in South Africa? I'll let you guys comment below and let me know if you really trust the courts here in South Africa. So the second thing I wanted to talk about is how Cyril blames the pandemic for the current economic situation in South Africa. Have a look.
Prior to the onset of the global financial crisis, our policies contributed to the revival of our economy.
What revival? We were downgraded the day. We were already on junk. We went lower than junk the day we went into lockdown. What economic recovery are you talking about? Let's have a look at the unemployment rates from 1999 to 2021, as well as the GDP from 1999 to 2021. Oh, wow. Unemployment went down from 2002 to 2008. It was at 22.43%. All right. GDP was also at its highest during that time. And then, as you can see, as it gets towards 2008, it starts to decline, which is not good. Let's see. Who was president at that time? Oh, wow. Thabo Mbeki. That's interesting. What's interesting to me is that there was a time where the GDP was looking good and unemployment rate was really low. Let me tell you something. The ANC doesn't care about its people. And this is just a light research that I did. I mean, guys, go Google. The information is there. The problem I have with him also blaming the pandemic is that some of the regulations that happened during the lockdown, which was in the name of saving lives, and while, yes, lives probably were saved, I think the damage or the ripple effect of the harsh lockdowns and ridiculous regulations that were put in place is going to cause a ripple effect that we're going to be suffering through for a very, very long time. The lockdown in South Africa was so harsh that a lot of businesses closed their doors. And what happens when businesses close their doors? More unemployment. And I know what you're going to say. Yeah, but Cyril has an economic recovery plan. Well, that's actually my next point. I have a problem with that too.
We are now in the phase of rebuilding, and our focus is on aggressively implementing the economic reconstruction and recovery plan that was announced last year.
So he spoke about this economic recovery plan that they want to implement, right? Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but Moody's didn't really agree, and a lot of investors didn't really agree with his recovery plan. They're not impressed. As a matter of fact, we were downgraded again. So FTSEC economic recovery plan. And then on top of that, he says this.
The success of our economic recovery relies in large measure on the repurposing of state-owned enterprises.
The economic recovery plan depends on the SOEs. The same SOEs that are bankrupt, that are basically dying a slow death and have been for over 3 years. SAA in its moor. Eskom. Eskom is like going to KFC and they don't have any chicken, all right? That's the one thing they don't make is electricity, all right? We are suffering. We are in load shedding, or some people like to call it rolling blackouts, which is what they actually are. Denel, Randwater is suffering. The South African Broadcasting Corporation, SABC, is also in its moor. Post Office, or the Postal Services. And the Land Bank was also pleading for almost, or at least 10 billion rand in bailouts.
10.5 billion rand is allocated to SAA to implement its business rescue plan. Well, let me repeat. 10.5 billion rand is allocated to SAA listen.
South African Airways, they still want to try and make that thing rise up like a phoenix from the ashes, which is not going to happen. Everything in this country is basically bankrupt. Oh man, this is a bad idea. I feel like I just got a bad feeling about this. And the last thing I wanted to bring up is this guy spoke so much cock. Oh man, it was bad, guys. It was bad. So have a look at this.
The values on which this movement was founded are integrity, honesty, tolerance, respect, and above all, service to our people.
I mean, I don't know how he said that with a straight face. I really don't.
And in this, we know we can count on the people of South Africa who believe in the ANC, who support the ANC.
Like I said, every Friday is Footsec ANC Friday. This has been happening for a while. And this past Friday, on the ANC's birthday, it was trending on Twitter. Yeah. And also halfway through his speech, the promises start coming in, like, oh, we're going to create more jobs for the South African people. Something that the ANC has been promising for years, which they haven't done. And I showed you the graph of unemployment rate. So there you go. He speaks about a basic income grant. Oh, my word. The day after his speech, this article is released. Yeah, I got a lot of faith in that social income grant or in the grant system, Mr. President, because it's working so well right now. So yeah, once you read that, you realize, wow, okay, taxes are going to increase if they want to do this.
The ANC will continue to prioritize the African agenda and enhancing Africa's status in the global community.
Speaks a lot about the African agenda. Bringing Africa together and helping Africa and all that stuff, which is all very noble and very nice, but rather focus on your own country, Mr. President, because it's falling apart. I love this part.
The renewal and unity of the ANC is a critical enabler for all these noble dreams.
Yeah, noble dreams. That's that's probably the only thing you said in your speech that is true. That's exactly what it is. Noble dreams. They're just dreams, people. But this, wow.
We must reach every voter and engage those not yet registered to convince them that the ANC remains the best instrument for strong development at the local government level.
Again, how did he say that with a straight face? How? Obviously, he starts mentioning the right things to say, right? Because he starts mentioning, we need to fight GBV, and we need to fight gangsterism, we need to fight crime, and we need to, fight the drugs, and we need to prevent alcohol abuse. He's saying all the right things that he thinks people want to hear. But we've been hearing this for many months, Mr. President. We've been hearing this for years. We know that these are issues and problems in South Africa that need to be fixed, but your government is doing nothing to fix it. We want an immediate response, not a, don't worry, we're going to do it. And while you were being respectful, I'll give you that, where you were mentioning some of the names of the people that have fallen, and may God rest their souls. I agree 100% with that. We should remember the fallen. But don't forget about these names, Mr. President. It just would have been nice of you to mention some of these names that have also passed away during the lockdown. May God rest their souls. And I thought this was going to be the moment where you were going to give your best performance, right? And start crying once again. But no, you didn't. No crocodile tears this time. And just a bit of a side note, ladies and gentlemen, Cyril has the charisma of a toothbrush. I'm just saying. All right, so there you have it, folks. The worst speech from President Cyril Ramaphosa, in my honest opinion. Again, all the links to the articles are in the description below. You can go check them out for yourself. Do your own research. I know there's a lot that he spoke about in his speech that I didn't mention, I know, but guys, like I said, if I went through everything, I'd probably be here for a very long time. I felt that this was a very important video to make in the hopes that some South Africans will wake up to what is going on in South Africa at the moment, right under our noses. Do not be fooled by the ANC. And let me know, are you shocked? Did you know this was happening? Didn't you know this was happening? Comment in the comment section below. I do usually reply. And this is your second reminder that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. Please also like, and like I said, share this video far and wide. It really is the best way that this message can get out there. And if you want to support me, you can become a member to this channel, or you can go to the link in the description below, which says support me, and it will take you to my website where it will give you more information on how you can support me. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And don't forget to go check out Rebel clothing store, www.rebelstoreza.com. Very cool shirts. Again, link in the description below. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.
10.5 billion rand is allocated to SAA to listen.